Hey guys, you're welcome back to my channel today. Thank you so much for stopping by. In this video, I'll be cutting and sewing this very simple cowl neck blouse that you can see on your screen. So if you're interested, keep on watching and let's get started. I already have my basic bodice pattern on my work table, and I'll quickly run you guys through all the points that I have on this pattern. So the distance from my shoulder to my chest line is 8 inches. The distance from my shoulder to my bust point is 10 inches. The distance from my shoulder to my waist point is 16 inches. And the distance from my shoulder to my top length is 22 inches. So I went ahead to rule a straight line across all these points that you can see. So I also went ahead to curve out my armhole. I placed my bust circumference divided by 4 on my chest line. On the waistline, I placed my waist circumference divided by 4, and on the base of my top, I placed my hip circumference divided by 4, and I added 1 inch allowance to all the sides. On the shoulder line, I took half of my shoulder measurement. I came down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. The neck width is 4.5 inches, and the neck depth is 2 inches, which is for the back. Okay, so I'm making this top for a chubby person. That is why my neck width is 4.5 inches. So I'll be using 1.5 yards of this lightweight chiffon fabric. I'll fold my fabric into 2, and I'm going to place my pattern on it. I'll make sure I trim out my shoulder slope of 1 inch, and then I'm going to pin my pattern paper on the fabric all the way around. So I'll be cutting out the back first. After pinning my fabric, I'll go ahead and cut just like you see me doing. I also went ahead to add half an inch allowance, and I have not trimmed the neckline. What I'll do is to use my chalk to mark where the shoulder line starts from, just like you see me doing. I don't want to cut out the neckline, and I'll trim other sides exactly as this. After doing that, guys, I'm going to remove my pattern paper, and I'm going to go ahead and create the neckline that I want for the back. So I'll be using 2 inch for the neckline, 2 inches. If you are on a smaller side, you can use 1 inch for the neck depth and 3 inches for the neck width. Okay, but I'll be using 2 inches for the back because I want it to be open, since this top is not going to have a zipper. Okay, so if you want to add a zipper to yours, make sure you leave your zipper allowance at the back before cutting. So I'll go ahead and trim out this neckline. After cutting out the neckline, this is what I have. So don't forget that if you're not adding a zipper to your back, it should be on fold. So I'm going to still work on this pattern paper to cut out the front. I'll go ahead and use my chalk to mark where my shoulder length starts from. Okay, so I'm going to go down to my bust point. My bust point is immediately after my chest line, and I'm going to slant from the bust point to meet the armhole area, just like you see me doing. So just look at what I'm doing and just follow what I'm doing. Okay, so I placed my ruler on my bust point. I'm going to slant to meet the armhole area. So after slanting, I'm going to go ahead and slash through this line that I just created, but I'm not going to cut it out completely. So this will enable us to spread because I'm doing the slash and spread method. So after cutting, we are going to spread the upper side of this pattern paper. Okay, so don't cut it out completely. Okay, so I think I'm satisfied with what I have. So what I'm going to do is to go ahead and fold my fabric into 2, and then I'm going to place my pattern paper on my fabric. Okay, so just pay close attention to what I am doing. My fabric is already folded into 2. I'm going to go ahead and place my pattern paper on the folded edge of my fabric. Okay, so make sure you pin the middle of the pattern paper. Okay, the center front of the pattern paper, make sure you pin it to the fabric, and then we're going to spread this other side of the pattern paper. So guys, as you can see, I've pinned the middle. Okay, I've pinned it to my fabric. What I'm going to do is to spread this part. So it depends on how you want your neckline to fall. If you want it to really fall for your bust to show, you can go ahead and spread it by 11, 12, 13 inches. It depends on you, but for this tutorial I'll be spreading by 10 inches. So after spreading by 10 inches, I went ahead to use my pin to hold the pattern paper down, and then I'm going to place my ruler on the shoulder line, which is where I marked with my white chalk earlier, and I'm going to rule out a straight line. So this is why I did not cut out my neckline, because I want to get this straight line. But if you know you can get it after cutting your neckline out, it's totally fine. I'm going to go ahead and cut on this straight line. At this point, you can go ahead and just cut through the pattern paper, but then I want to use this pattern paper for something else, so that is why I did not cut it. So I'm going to just raise my fabric up. Before I do that, I'll mark where my my neckline stops. Okay, and then I'm going to cut straight down, just like you see me doing. I'll make sure everything aligns. After doing that, next thing I'll do is to cut my shoulder line just like it is. So pay close attention so you know what to do. And then I'm going to go ahead and trace out the sides and the armhole area. On the side I added half an inch allowance. After cutting, guys, I'm going to remove my pattern paper. In case you don't understand what I just did here, you can ask me in the comment section. I'll be there. So guys, this is what I have, and this is how the neckline is going to fall. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So if you have enough fabric, go ahead and cut out your facing. Just place your fabric into two just like this, and then cut out the facing. But I don't have enough fabric for that. What I'm going to do next is to cut out my sleeves. So my fabric is folded into two. On the folded edge, I went inward by 3 inches, and on the other end of the fabric, I went down by 6 inches. So my fabric is folded into two, and one layer is 16 inches. So the wideness of this fabric is 32 inches. Okay, so I went down by 6 inches on the other end. I'm going to connect. I know that this sleeves looks too big. That's because I want to gather it on the base and also gather it on the upper area. Okay, I went ahead to cut it out. Now notch the middle. So this is your regular basic sleeve pattern. Okay, so I'm going to fold the base into two like this also, and then I'll insert my elastic band, and I'm going to gather the upper area. So for my neckline, since I don't have enough fabric to cut out facing, I'm just going to go ahead and hem both the front neckline and the back neckline, but adding a facing to it to make your work very neat. So guys, I'm done hemming the neckline for the front, and this is what it looks like. I also went ahead to hem the back neckline also, and this is what it looks like. So I'm going to place my back pattern on my table. Okay, the right side of the fabric is facing me, and then I'm going to bring the front pattern. I'm going to place them right sides facing each other just like this, and then I'll go ahead and pin the shoulders together. After pinning the shoulders together, I'll just go ahead and sew. And I've also gone ahead to work on my sleeves. Like I said before, I'll be gathering the upper area of the sleeves because I want a puffy sleeves, and then I'll be adding elastic band to the base of the sleeves. So that's just what I did. So what I'm going to do now is to sew the shoulders, attach my sleeves, and sew the sides. Okay, so use the allowance that you left to just join the two sides of your top together. After doing that, guys, I went ahead to turn my top inside out, and this is what I have. The last thing I will do is to hem the base of my blouse. And yeah, that brings us to the end of this tutorial. I hope it was helpful. Please don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you are not subscribed. I'll see you guys in the next one.